Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, man. Today, we're talking Milwaukee Bucks as a Chicagoan, I guess, especially after the Grayson Allen, Alex Caruso debacle earlier, or scuffle, I guess I should say, earlier this season. I guess the Bucks are a team I'm not technically supposed to like, but I appreciate greatness, and as far as I'm concerned, Giannis Antetokounmpo is that guy. I mean, if Chris Middleton was healthy, bro, I won't go as far to say as I'm positive the Milwaukee Bucks would beat the Golden State Warriors in the finals, but I am 100% sure. No slander meant to the Boston Celtics because they had a phenomenal basketball team as well. Defending champions, I think they would have 100% have had the opportunity to defend their throne had Chris Middleton not gone down with an injury. So hit that like button, man. Hit that sub button for daily NBA content. If you guys want more Bucks videos, definitely go ahead, drop a comment down below. But for right now, kind of going off of what I do on my daily live NBA show with Sirio Aseo, I'm kind of going through teams right now. You know, it's August 2nd. Basketball is as dead as it probably could possibly be. We have stalls in every single trade because you're asking for essentially an entire franchise's draft picks, and you're basically asking for a franchise in return for Kevin Durant and Donovan Mitchell. So NBA is a little stagnant right now, which is to be expected in the first week of August. I would go ahead and give the Milwaukee Bucks a B+. I'm reading an article on The Athletic right now. They graded every team. They also gave the Bucks a B+. I think the reacquisition, or the re-sign, I should say, of both Bobby Portis on, you know, there's a lot of talk about Bobby Portis' contract, is totally fine. In fact, I would argue that the contract they got Bobby Portis on is a steal. I preach this as often as I can. I apologize if it becomes annoying. If it becomes annoying, let me know, because I'll make a whole video on this to clear the air. We're going to go into a lockout next year. And the year after that, the salaries are going to exponentially jump, just like they did in 2016 when you got guys like Dellavedova, Mozgov getting 4 years, $80 million thrown around. Bobby Portis' contract, even if salaries weren't about to exponentially jump, to me is still a bargain. With Brook Lopez's injury last season, not only did Bobby Portis step up, but he might have actually secured himself the starting role long term. I love Brook Lopez. A little bit on the older side. Injury. Maybe they eventually trade him, although I'm not going that far. Brook Lopez is still a very solid basketball player. But I think, honestly, he's more suited for the bench with Bobby Portis starting. You also re-signed a very important jack-of-all-trades, which we saw in the postseason, in Pat Connaughton. Pat Connaughton was money for him, not only in the regular season, but specifically in the postseason. He's a guy who can literally do everything. He can defend. He can create his own shot if need be. He can knock down his threes. Pat Connaughton is a guy you want on a championship roster. And once again, man, I know they lost to Boston in 7, but with a healthy Chris Middleton, that series could go differently. It probably would have gone completely differently, but, you know, I'm trying to think of some saying for stuff that hasn't happened. Insert slang word or saying for something that, you know, didn't happen, but maybe it would have. Essentially, I gave the definition just now to a hypothetical. Anyways, so you have those two re-signs, and then you went out and you actually got Joe Ingles. I think Joe Ingles, unfortunately, he is technically, 34, turning 34 years old. He just tore his ACL. But I've always viewed Joe Ingles as more of a specialist. He can very, very well play in the pick and roll dynamic. But mainly, he's a sharpshooter, knockdown three-point shot. And, the defense might cause some limitations, but he'll be coming off of the bench, and he will definitely be used when need be. So I anticipate a healthy Joe Ingles to provide definitely an impact on this Bucks squad. You also drafted MarJon Beauchamp. I made so many pre-draft videos on MarJon. I don't know what kind of impact he'll have in this upcoming season per se, because the Bucks could use more reliable wing defenders. I will talk about Grayson here in just a second, but, Joe Ingles not the best defender. MarJon Beauchamp is long-term. He's going to be a good player. He's at the very worst. I think I have Beauchamp's floor as being a super, super reliable and sturdy role player, which you're going to take. more often than not, every single time you're actually going to take that. So let's take a look at their starting lineup here. We have it on, what is this article called? Real GM. Yeah, Real GM. All right. Drew Holiday. Dude. Drew Holiday, I feel like, may have gone a little bit below the radar this past season, particularly in the playoffs, just because of the absence of Chris Middleton. But, you know, we saw it last season, and we really saw it the year before when the Bucks won it all. Dude, you have like an 18-5-7 all-defensive stud. That's who I want running my offense. I want Drew Holiday running my offense. So there's no worries with Drew Holiday. Now, starting shooting guard, we got listed here at Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen actually temporarily lost his starting job to Wesley Matthews, although we did kind of see him regain it. He did defensive rating in the playoffs of 114.1. I think the stat was for guys who played more than 15 or 20 minutes a night, it was the worst defense. So that is the limitation with Grayson Allen, is unless he's knocking down threes and he's putting up double-digit points, he could be a liability on defense. It kind of reminds me of, I was listening to a Duncan Robinson clip where he was like in the bubble finals when the Heat played the Lakers. He was like, LeBron James would literally get the ball, like the ball would be inbounded. He'd be walking up the court and he'd point right at him and say, I want switch. So, yeah, there's some defensive limitations, but at the same time, I would imagine Grayson Allen, Wesley Matthews, you also have Pat Connaughton. I'm not too worried about the defense. Like, you know, to me, the Bucks didn't lose the playoff series to the Celtics. They didn't win the finals because Grayson Allen's defensive limitations. Like, he's still a bucket, and if he can be adequate, if he can be average, I mean, that's all you really need. So I know Grayson Allen's definitely working on a bunch of different things right now in the offseason. I'm a big Duke bandwagon basketball fan, so I'm a big Grayson supporter. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you know, coming from a Chicagoan, a Bulls fan, it's you know, taboo per se to enjoy Grayson Allen's game, but shit, man, I got no shame in appreciating Grayson Allen as a basketball player, especially what he did for the Duke Blue Devils. Giannis, power forward, like I said, best basketball player in the freaking world, man. What we saw, especially in that Boston series when he really had to step up, was just complete takeover. But you know, we've seen it time and time again. You know, you need somebody else, man. You know, the playoffs, the NBA, it's a star-driven league, and they definitely missed Chris Middleton. So Chris Middleton, 20 points per game, absolute bucket, can defend, good, solid two-way basketball player. And then you got Bobby Portis, you know, Mr. 15-9, Mr. Solid, Mr. Sturdy, reliable. He's kind of almost like an Energizer bunny, in my opinion. So that as a starting five is very clearly top tier, but you know, it's one of the best starting fives in the entire NBA. Moving on to the bench, man, you gotta, don't sneeze here. Woo. Good thing we're at the end of the video. You got a bunch of nice guards, Javon Carter, George Hill, Joe Ingles, Wesley Matthews, Pat Connaughton, and you also have Brook Lopez coming off the bench and Serge Ibaka. Now, I don't think the Bucks are gonna make a move in free agency. My best guess is if they need to address some type of flaw, whether it is, you know, a defensive issue with Grayson Allen or, you know, Wesley Matthews or whoever starting at shooting guard, or just get more depth, more wing depth in particular, they'll make the move if they need to make the move. But for right now, any team with Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're going to have a shot at it. So that's it for today, man. Hit that like button, hit that sub up. Most importantly, go ahead, drop a comment down below, especially if you want more Bucks videos. But I'm also a big diehard Packers fan, so go Pack Go if we got any Packers fans in the chat right now. But go ahead, drop some comments down below. What are your thoughts and expectations on the Milwaukee Bucks this upcoming season? That is it for today, man. Peace.